So before we turned the cameras on, you were saying that you did several shows in Asia. What's that like? What I can't...
Konnichiwa, boys!
I can't picture you doing anything besides Newfoundland jokes. I haven't seen one of your shows outside.
Someone's a big fan.
How's that go?
I just do regular stand-up. Obviously, I'm not going to lie. First show was the worst show I've ever had to this date.
Yeah.
Because I did it in Brunei.
So how do you get ready for a show
in Asia? With
such a different culture.
Well, first I have a bowl of ramen.
What do you get some noodles?
Before I went to Asia, I only did comedy in Newfoundland and Alberta. So I had to funnel through all my shit. I'm like, what can be relatable anywhere? All right, I got a bit about condoms. All right, most people use condoms, not in Newfoundland, but that's all right. So I got my condom bit. I look through, okay, I got a bit about fucking George Street. Probably should scrap that.
Yeah.
So I just sift through all my shit. I'm like, I had just enough. I'm like, this should be okay. This was 2018, so I'm still kind of stunned, right? I did a Boston Pizza reference, right? And here everyone's from the crowds, like from New Zealand, Australia, fucking England, the States, Brunei, Asia. So I'm referencing Boston Pizza, and they're like, where the fuck is that? Yeah. And in my head, I'm like, well, everyone knows Boston Pizza.
So it was a hard set.
It was hard, but Brian had set up like 7 shows, so I eventually got the hang of it. I had some good shows.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this episode of Taking Action. I am your host, Michael Allen. Today I'm joined with my co-host, Ryan Peaton, as well as our guest, Mike Lynch. You may recognize Mike from SiriusXM Radio. He's a local Newfoundland comedian. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice to be here in this local environment. Safe local environment.
Absolutely. No
structurally sound house from the 1800s.
Yeah, don't move too hard. We've had a lot of wind lately, and it's possible some things have shifted.
Yeah, right. The wind's probably sketchy on this house, isn't it?
Actually, that's why I love the old houses. I've got something for them. They were well built. It's if you look at the grain of the wood, and this is to kind of nerd out a little bit, like it's actual old grain wood, like those rings.
Stronger.
It's way stronger than this fast grown wood. So where you have like 7 years and you have a full length of wood. Anyway, we won't get too much into it. Tell us about you and how you got started in comedy.
I got started. A buddy of mine in this is my podcast voice. I'm a little louder now. Just my voice, but a little louder. Sorry, I don't mean to ruin the flow.
No, I like it.
But my buddy in my drama class or whatever, he was doing stand-up comedy, and they'd let him in while he was underage into Yuck Yucks and do a set. And he'd always be like, you want to come see me do stand-up? And I'd be like, yeah, like, can I get in? That'd be sick. And I used to go watch him. And then, it's not a crazy story, but like, there's this old guy, and he used to do stand-up. He was like 70 years old. And we were just randomly talking to him, and out of nowhere, he's like, if you ever want to try stand-up comedy, let me know, and I'll meet up with you. We'll smoke a joint, and I'll help you write some stuff.
Okay.
And I was like, I never thought about doing comedy. I never thought I had the balls for it. Like, I was always like the whole classic class clown story or whatever that everyone has. But I was like, oh, fuck, I can do stand-up comedy. Crazy. And anyway, I just messaged him, like, I don't know, he's probably trying to fuck me, I don't know, right? So I messaged him. that went out the rail. But I was just like, he seems cool. But just a lonely old man.
What was the age difference here?
I was 20, he was 70.
He writes back,
and he has here no family, right? Now, great guy, God rest his soul, George Price. But I'm like, hey man, I think I'd really like to try. I remember I was like waiting an hour. I'm like, just thinking about, like, should I do it? And I messaged him. But anyway, we met up and we like shot the shit. And I thought he'd be like, oh, I'd tell him an idea and he'd be like, oh yeah, that's a good one. Like, here's what else you can add. But I'd like have this little routine prepared and I'd run it by him. He'd be like, no, that's not funny. Say this. And he just give me a totally different bit. I'm like, oh. So like he did help me, and he wasn't one who signed me up on stage, but he was also like, he was like pretty brutally honest.
Yeah.
And harsh.
So what were some of your earlier skits about?
Just hitting puberty.
So how old were you when you did your first stand-up?
I just turned 20.
Yeah.
So I was talking about like how easy it was to get boners. Just hit puberty or whatever, and like the cat just brushed up against my leg, and that's all it took. And
yeah.
So was it at Yuck Yucks?
was at Yuck Yucks, yeah.
Yeah.
In front
That
of-
was your first time on stage at Yuck Yucks.
yeah.
Oh wow.
It's when the scene was thriving. So yeah, there's people on their night out, right? They got babysitters and they're just like, oh, I used to get boners all the time. So like, there's people because they'd have a pro-am night, right? So they'd be out Thursday night for the first 30 minutes of the show, 25 minutes, it'd be the amateurs.
Yeah.
Right, doing 5 minutes. And I go up there with my little boner bit, talk about my boner. We had 20 years old and when you first go up, they introduce you like, oh, this guy's the first time on stage, like be very nice. So the crowd is like, the crowd are gonna go easy on you, right? They want you to do good, and they'll force laughs for you. I didn't know that. I was just like, I just crushed it.
I'm hilarious.
Naturally. So the second time, I'm like, boss, come out. I got a treat for you. So the second time I go up, they don't introduce me as new. They're like, your next act, Mike Lynch. Mm-hmm. So I go up thinking I got this. And anyway, I go up, I eat shit right in front of my friends.
Oh.
It's like, I'll do it again now. So
and that's probably one of the hardest parts, eh? And I think a lot of comedians talk about that, going up on stage and just absolutely bombing, but then going at it again and just working through that. Yeah,
I didn't think I'd have the balls because I remember my first bomb, I'm like, this was awful.
Yeah.
Like I had to, it fucks you up. Absolutely. And you're like, am I really gonna do this again? And no, it's for whatever reason, you fucking end up doing it again.
You go up again after you just bombed, and you use the same material. You scrap all that. You come up with something new.
I remember I bombed with like my tried and true material. Like at the time, tried and true, like 5 sets in.
Oh, it's 5.
This is all I have, so I got no choice. I can't dive into the vault. And then I remember. So what I did the next set, after I bombed with it, I just did it, but I just did it louder. Thought that helped. I think it did. I can't remember what I did after I first bombed. I just kept coming back.
So it's a pretty amazing thing. And like anything that you do or anything that humans do, we get better at it as we go. And you get experience and you can learn to sense what the crowd is feeling. Where do you think you're at now with your comedy? Can you get a feel for how the crowd is feeling, what things are hitting? If you say a joke, are you feeling it land? Like, what does that feel like to be a comedian and do it professionally?
I think you're always like, my attitude anyway, it's just like, I can still get better. I'm still kind of, and every crowd is kind of different. So you're always like, okay, my last show was way better than this one. Like, what'd I do wrong? Yeah. But and you're not supposed to blame the crowd. You're not. You're supposed to, whatever. Sometimes you have bad performances or whatever, but it's like you're always trying to get better and you always can get better. But yeah, sometimes when you're in it, like, you can read the room a little bit. Oh, this is not working. Let me try this. Or if you try a new joke, you just know how to play it off, sandwich it between two good bits.
Right.
So what happens when you change geographical location? Because I know you got tour dates coming up all over Newfoundland, but then I noticed you got Edmonton, Calgary, there's one in BC.
I just keep being funny in other places.
Thanks
for believing in me. So what happens with...
I believe in you, but how does it change? There's Fort Mac, that's basically Newfoundland.
Yeah, right.
So what about Calgary?
Calgary... Well, the thing is with these shows coming up, it's pretty much like any Newfoundlanders here tonight. You know what I mean? Like
right. Do you always get
I don't actually say that. That's Chris Andrews thing. Oh. But it's like a Newfoundland themed show. Like especially with Cecil, like when people go there that aren't, maybe they know a Newfoundlander, but they're not around it a lot. Like I've had people come in like, I shouldn't say this is not going to help sell tickets, but like just people from away like, it was a great show. I didn't understand a word he was saying, but it was good. But I do stand up. I do my character, I do stand up and I do some music too. I play the accordion and I sing.
Man, that's a skill.
I do everything.
That's a skill in itself, the accordion.
I'm amazing. Yeah, I actually do like to play accordion. It's not just for my act. I actually like playing it.
Yeah, I noticed that in a few of your skits, you got the accordion going, and it's like,
"Oh, it's a sweet back." Hey, I'll calm down. So I'm in a weird mood where it's like I was so like low energy, like coming in, you know what I mean? Because I've been like camping out in my little office, just writing all day. Like I've been talking to people, so it's like takes me a second to like calibrate my brain to like talking to people mode, like let alone people I just met.
Right.
So anyway, I seem off. Just don't mind me.
No, I was gonna say, but the accordion. First time I saw you busted the accordion on a skate, I was like, he can't play that.
Oh, yes, I can.
And
It's tough, isn't it? It's supposed to be a harder instrument to learn.
I can't play guitar, so like to me the guitar seems more complicated than, you know, the squeeze box, like the button, I guess Irish button accordion, or there's different names for it, like diatonic or whatever, but I don't know the names on those. But
But who learns to play the accordion anymore?
a fucking loser, that's who. I learned in like 2012. I just started appreciating like Irish and Newfoundland music because like I grew up with it, like, you know, Pop, Mom, Dad always have it on, and Pop played the accordion. And when I was growing up, you're like, this fucking Pop this cable. And then as you're older, like I just liked it, and I was just like, can you teach me how to play, Pop? He said, no, well, you don't need to be at that. He didn't have the patience to teach me how to play, so I just picked one up and.
That's wicked. My father used to play as well.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was I always loved it when he would take it out and play, but it wasn't very often. But I love to learn.
You taught yourself how to play, that's what you're saying.
I taught myself, but I did take some lessons as well to really, because I really wanted to get good at it, I guess. Yeah. And
so is that a staple in your shows? You bring the accordion along with you? And
I do, yeah.
Press the shit out of some
yeah, I press some buttons. Yeah, squeeze the box, right, for everyone there. Yeah, dedicated to sexy ladies in the crowd.
Mm-hmm. Have you noticed that now? Like, were you always somebody that had a lot of attention from women, or have you noticed it grow a lot since you've become more popular?
Well, I mean, like, trying to navigate this question.
What's it like being
Definitely
famous, Mike?
Man, the skin on gates is nuts. No,
tell me about.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like naturally, like if more people know you, there's gonna be like more women talk to you. And no, thank you, girls. I'm a one-woman guy.
There you go.
But I mean, I guess I don't even know if I have any more comments on that one. But there's no way to talk about it too deep without sounding like a douchebag. Like,
right.
Oh, boss, this is one chick, man.
Oh fuck! But you do a good impression, though.
That's what we're
like.
for.
When you speak like that, or when you go into a character, I picture somebody in my mind that you remind me of. So you really get into these characters.
Yeah, I was like, growing up, I was never like just talking in my own voice. I was always just putting on some stupid, silly voice or impersonating or whatever. So, and it's kind of something I got to remember too, because like sometimes I'll write and it's like if I'm doing too much writing, not enough talking, I think I'm more of I'm gonna come up with this smart, clever joke and make this great point that's gonna solve the world. But then I'm like, all right, I just do dumb voices. That's what I should be doing. So,
do you see that's how your comedy will expand? Like once you move outside of more of just a Newfoundland focused theme, do you want to hit more like a Dave Chappelle approach where he has these big political or social ideas and he's embedding his own personality into them?
No, I kind of like, I just like whatever I find funny in the time I'm writing, like I'll focus on a bit for a chunk of time, like one bit at a time kind of thing. And it's just what I find funny in the moment. I'm not trying to like, okay, in a couple of years, I'll be talking about politics or big social issues. Like maybe I'll have something where I'm like, oh, I got a bit about the school system and if there's a silly idea behind it. But I'm like the goal is never to like make a point of some kind. It's always just like, oh, this is silly and it'll make people laugh. Like that's the goal. I'm not trying. Now sometimes like maybe like there'll be an underlying point, but that's just more of a foundation to come up with more jokes. So it's like, it might seem like on stage, like I'm really passionate about all these subjects, but really I'm just using this opinion to get to this silly dumb line where I just make a fart noise and, you know, make you laugh. You know, that's my only goal. I'll say anything that makes you laugh.
Right. I feel like there's a lot of fun making with your type comedy. So where I'm going with this, do you ever think about doing roast?
A roast?
Yeah, roast.
Maybe if there's like a known, not of like a stranger, like I wouldn't want to do like a roast battle where like, all right, you're with this guy named Jeremy and here's some dirt on him.
Yeah.
And I got to roast a stranger named Jeremy. Maybe years ago I'd be up for it, but now it's like, man, it's like, I like watching roasts, like I do, but I don't know if I knew the person would like all these jokes or like be able to handle the piss getting taken out of them.
Yeah.
I'm all for it, but you know.
I feel like if you're in a roast, you can handle getting the piss knocked out of you.
Yeah, usually, usually, typically. But I'm not. But it's also too. It's like I don't think roasting a stranger, like, because that's kind of how it goes. Is like you'll be paired up with some guy. It's like that I've never really had a conversation with. I was like, it's just not fun to me. And then you're putting all this work into like coming up with these jokes you're never going to use again. But I would like to like say if there's like you know, some known figure in the province or whatever, like wanted to roast for his birthday or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And like this is what he gets off on. Like I'd love to come with some like I like writing roast jokes.
You already got material ready for Andrew Fury. I know you do.
I mean, I'd do some research if he wanted to have a roast for himself for sure.
Yeah, there you go. Sell that now.
Yeah, make it happen.
Yeah.
I want to dive a little bit more deeply into the process you do when you're writing a joke. You said earlier that you sounds like you lock yourself away and you focus on a bit and you work it. What do you do when you're trying to come up with something funny? And
I got like a notes in my phone of just like a bunch of just ideas that just come to you when you're out and about, like, you know, just living your life. That's kind of when like, oh, you did something, you just rolled up your sleeves. I got a joke about sleeves, like write it down and I'll flesh that out during my, like I'll have like a little schedule. So I was like, you know, when I actually go start my day, I'll flesh that out in the morning or whatever. So it's not like I'll sit down and be like, all right, think something funny now. Cause that'll just drive you insane. But what I'll do is I'll sit down and be like, let's see what I got that I thought of before. I'm like, okay, that, and I'll just kind of put no pressure on it. Just start writing and yeah, just let it kind of flow. I used to just sit down and be like, how come I'm not thinking of anything funny? It's like I'm a fraud, like I suck. Like I can't think of anything funny. That's what everyone does. They just sit down and they just think of something funny. But it's like, no, ideas, you know, it's like the muse or whatever you want to call it.
And one thing I like that you do really well, and one skit that I like that you did recently was the one on rain. And I feel like everybody was suffering through the constant rain. Yeah. And you were perfectly timed. You came on and you just kind of
I gotta give Justin Hocko credit for that one because Justin Hocko wrote that one. But he fucking kill me if I'm like, yeah, I don't know, I just came up with it.
That's all me.
I was raining and I said, this is something.
But what I'm hitting at is it's almost like a new version of a meme. Like it's well timed and it's what everybody's feeling, and you take it and you turn it into something funny and positive.
Yeah. When you joke about stuff that, you know, like especially local, like, you know, in November there we had constant rain, like this is what everyone's thinking about, this is what everyone's talking about, and if you know, it kind of gives you a big advantage if it's already on everyone's mind.
Yeah.
So.
And then it's up to you and I guess your team and your network to put something out in a timely manner.
Yeah.
I
want to join your team by the quality of this production. My team sucks.
Well, we can make something like that happen for sure. But how important is timing for you in your comedy?
Yeah, if it's something like you said, the rain thing, like you don't want to wait, you know, for the sun to start shining. So if it's something topical, timing is big. You know.
Yeah, but we really got to get that content out there in a timely manner.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, if you aren't gonna give a fuck about me in a couple months, but timing is if it's something topical, you want it out there, during the sweet spot. And even some stuff that's not topical, I'm like, man, maybe this just won't be funny later on. Like maybe people will be over this. Maybe it'll be done to death or something.
I think that whenever there's something going on, whether it's political, the weather, business, you got to hit when the iron's hot on that.
Yeah.
Take it and make a joke out of it. I feel like you can take anything and make a joke out of it.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like the whole rain bit. We were all suffering through it. I was sick of people saying, oh, rain again, rain again. Yeah. You're like, more rain.
Yeah.
What do you do next week? Rain. I'll never try to impersonate you again.
No, it's fine. Oh, please do.
And let's take that same concept when you're on stage and timing. I've heard many comedians say a lot of comedy is about timing. How do you use it in your skits?
Yeah, I think it's just like, in terms of like timing, like how you say stuff. I think it's just something you feel. It's like, you know, when your buddy says something funny and that perfect timing, it's just like you feel, you don't go, okay, oh my God, that was 3.5 seconds before he said that. You're like, no, you just kind of feel that it's funny. But sometimes you try stuff out and your timing's off. You got to fix it. Like you could change a whole, you know, like how a punchline hits just by just taking one extra beat. And then when you say it, fucking laugh.
So I'm going to back up a bit. You started comedy stand-up when you were 20. You said you started the YouTube channel stuff about 2016. So what's that?
8 years ago?
8 year difference in between? No, 6 year difference in between. I'm doing the math all wrong.
Yeah, so like...
So it's 12 and 8. It's 4 years. No, it was 4 years.
Yeah, so 4 years.
You made that difficult.
4 years I was a nobody doing stand-up.
It's 12 years ago, yeah. Then it was 4 years before you started the YouTube.
Yeah.
How did that, like... So how those 4 years, what changed in those 4 years? And did the YouTube channel just change your career and put it on different...
Yeah, for sure. So, well, the character Cecil is what helped me immensely. And my buddy Justin Hacko's YouTube channel, we already had that kind of going. So he used to do I was just doing stand-up as like a hobby, basically.
Right.
And actually 2014 rolled around and I wanted to do it full time, but I had no business to be at it. Wasn't selling tickets, wasn't making money. I was just the time for dreams. And anyway, so I came up with the character Cecil O'Brien.
Where'd he come from?
Just a mix of like my family's from the Bay, and he's like a mix of like 4 different people, I'd say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I was doing it full time, and my buddy Justin Hacko, who was running this YouTube channel that was going great already, he heard that I did a good Skeet character, so he hit me up on Facebook, and he got me to do a little cameo. And I guess he liked it, so he had me in a couple more videos. And then I posted, then I had that character Cecil O'Brien, who I was just like, I did a couple screech-ins at Yuck Yucks with. And well, it was bittersweet because I went up as this character and people were laughing more than any of my stand-up. I was like, for fuck's sakes, I didn't even prepare anything. This is bullshit. And it was like, man, that was amazing. I was like, fuck. Okay, I was still competing with my character. And so anyway, Selena Gomez was coming to town. I had this idea to like make like a video shout out to Selena Gomez as my Cecil character. I wanted to screech her in. So then I made it, I posted it, and people started sharing the fuck out of it. Like, it went viral, whatever viral is at that time. And anyway, I was just like, well, I guess I'll just keep doing this. So I kept making Cecil videos. Hacko, I guess, let me into his outhouse family or whatever. And just kept making videos. And then even then, I'm like, all right, well, this is just videos, but I still do stand-up. And then I guess, started a little tour. And I didn't put together, I'm like, oh, it's going to be tough to sell shows. And then people came out, like a show in Corner Brook specifically was sold out. And I was like, how the fuck did that sell out? And
What just happened here?
Nothing going on.
Yeah, and it was the videos. So people recognized me from the videos. And I think I posted on my page or whatever. And then people showed up. And I'm like, this is nuts. It was me and my buddy Paul Warford. Hilarious guy. hilarious comedian. And we're like, holy shit, the videos help sell the shows or whatever. And that's kind of like the light bulb went off. And then I went away to Calgary to try and improve stand-up. And even then I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to get a job. This is gonna be something I work on the side. And then it's me, Lisa Baker, and Colin Hollett. We put together like an Alberta tour. And again, like the shows were like selling out in Alberta, like cause pockets of Newfoundlanders.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit, like I might not need like a job. And that's when I kind of realized like, oh, the videos and the shows go hand in hand. And just been trying to keep that fucking juggle going ever since.
So you made that transition from it being a hobby or something that you were enjoying to it being your professional career that you do now, you earn a living from. I mean, that in itself must feel amazing, be able to take a hobby into a career.
Yes. Yeah, it feels great.
I wanna ask, where does the main source of your income come from? Is it from the reels that you're putting out on social media? She doesn't charge you any rent.
Yeah.
She cooks for you.
She's a sponsor.
She's a sponsor. Or is it the tours? How do you, for people who want to be comedians, what could a roadmap look like for them? What was yours?
Well, of course, everyone's is different. Mine's like, mine's definitely different from like a typical one outside the province. What helped me a lot is that, in Newfoundland, like, it's like its own brand of there's like our own brand of humor, right? Yeah. So that other Newfoundlanders long for, because like they can relate more to it than like just, I guess, the generic comedy all over. So I guess just that helped me a lot. Like if I was from fucking Manitoba, I wouldn't have a career, So if it wasn't for Newfoundland humor, I wouldn't have who knows, but probably wouldn't have a career.
And how well does Newfoundland humor hit outside of Newfoundland? For, say, where there's no Newfoundlanders in the audience and you're in Calgary or Edmonton.
If there's no Newfoundlanders in the audience?
Do you still do the Newfoundland bits?
No, when I do stand-up, it's not like it's... Now, when I'm doing like a Newfoundland show, like if I'm just doing the stand-up side of me, like I'll maybe have some new jokes. If I know there's Newfoundlanders in the crowd, I'll have some jokes that Newfoundlanders can laugh at. But primarily, I'm just kind of like a comedian that can do comedy anywhere, I think. Maybe not.
So before we turned the cameras on, you were saying that you did a show and several shows in Asia.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Yeah.
What's that like? What I can't.
It's like, konnichiwa, boys.
It's I don't know how to say it. I can't picture you doing anything besides Newfoundland jokes. I haven't seen one of your shows outside. So how's...
Someone's a big fan.
How's that go?
Well, I just do regular stand-up. So, obviously, I'm not going to lie. First show was the worst show I've ever had to this date.
Yeah.
Because I did it in Brunei.
Which is where?
Brunei is near Malaysia. It's... Geez, my geography's bad with this, but
that's okay.
You can drive to Malaysia,
right,
from Brunei.
Perfect.
Okay.
So how do you get ready for a show
in Asia?
In Asia, with such a different culture.
Well, first I have a bowl of ramen.
What do you? Get some noodles.
Yeah, but I just kind of so before I went to Asia, I only did comedy in Newfoundland and Alberta. So I had to funnel through all my shit. I'm like, what can be relatable anywhere? All right, I got a bit about condoms. All right, most people use condoms. Like, not in Newfoundland, but that's all right. So I got my condom bit. I look through, okay, I got a bit about fucking George Street. Probably should scrap that.
Yeah.
So I just sift through all my shit. And I'm like, I had just enough. I'm like, this should be okay. And then on my first show, I went up, just eat shit. I'm still... This was 2018, so I'm still kind of stunned, right? I did a Boston Pizza reference, right? And here everyone's in the crowd's like from New Zealand, Australia, fucking England, the States, fucking Brunei, Asia. So I'm referencing Boston Pizza, and they're like, where the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, well, everyone knows Boston Pizza.
Right.
But no, that's not true.
So it was a hard set. You.
It was hard, but Brian had set up like 7 shows. So I eventually got the hang of it. There was one or two more little roughies, but I had some good shows.
And what was
Thank
hitting?
God.
What was hitting with the Asian crowd?
Well, it's mostly expats.
Yeah.
So it wasn't all just, ESL kids, Dirty stuff would hit well, dirty jokes. I had to rely on dirty stuff, but yeah.
Did you find that you had to go there, immerse yourself in the culture, and keep your phone handy and just kind of live a life in Asia for a few days just to pick up material? Let it actually come
Man,
to you?
it's weird because for whatever reason, I thought I'd be like so inspired to have new jokes there. And I went there and I couldn't fucking...
This place isn't funny as shit.
No, like it was just such a culture shock. I don't think any jokes really came to me. So I don't even know. I can't remember what I opened with. I think I must acknowledge it in some way. Like, oh, I'm fucking in Asia. It's crazy.
We'll just make fun of that.
Yeah, but no, it was like if I did anything on Asia, it was probably like 2 minutes tops.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm still processing it now. It was a lot because Bangkok is mostly where I stayed.
Please tell me you made fun of the name Bangkok.
Made fun of people in Bangkok?
No, the name.
The name Bangkok? No, it's been done.
It's been done.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like
It's not even funny anymore.
yeah, they want to hear a certain unique spin on Bangkok if you're joking about Bangkok. But yeah, there's Bangkok, Vietnam, Singapore, Brunei, and I think there might have been one other one. I can't remember. But yeah, 5 countries.
You think you'll go back to Asia?
Probably eventually. I don't have the travel bug like a lot of people. Like, I'm on a plane a lot and in hotels a lot. So it's like, I look forward to just staying put, staying home. So I probably will eventually for sure. I probably will for sure.
So you got a big tour coming up this year,
Yeah.
all in 2025. Just tell us a little bit about that. You got X number of tour dates set. I didn't count them, but it's a good handful. Most in Newfoundland, a lot in Alberta.
Yeah.
In and around a lot of Newfoundlanders. So are we going to see some new material? Do you have anything lined up?
All new.
Spoiler alerts?
Any spoiler alerts? Pretty much, yeah.
He's like, I'm not sharing.
I'm not sharing shit.
Buy a ticket.
No, there's not really any material I could like perform for 2 guys at a table. That it would be awkward as fuck. But like, if I have my accordion here, I'd probably play you something. But yeah, it's an all new show, and it's gonna be a good time. There's gonna be a special guest host, and there's gonna be music. There's gonna be Cecil. There's gonna be stand up, and
So we're going to see Mike Lynch and Cecil O'Brien in the same room at the same time.
Same room, same time. Absolutely.
Bruce Wayne, Batman. Yeah.
It's gonna be good. I'm not very good at selling my own tour.
I was like, come on, Mike, sell your tour.
You sell my tour.
I'm gonna serve it up to you nice and easy here. And Mike's just like,
I don't know. If
yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna hype myself up.
Yeah, and I mean that's actually something that I wanted to touch on, because everybody has something they love doing, but not many people turn it into a career. What has that been like for you? So you are having to move into the entrepreneurship world. Do you find that something that comes easy to you, or you really struggle with that business side of things?
I'm good in ways, but I'm terrible in others. Like, it's hard to master both. Like when you're keeping up with the business side of things, it feels like the art of it is lacking, and then vice versa. Like, sometimes you feel like you're feeling sharp at comedy, and then you're like, oh fuck, but I didn't answer emails or make any videos or post anything. So it's like just finding that balance. And it's like nowadays, like you kind of got to do a lot of it yourself. So it's something that stresses me out for sure, because you just want to make jokes.
Right.
Like that's all I want to do. I don't want to answer emails. I don't want to have to friggin' argue with some fella. I don't want to have the, I don't have the fucking.
I think that's
whatever
a lot
else.
of thing that's common in a lot of businesses, though. Normally,
Yeah, you always got to do some shit you don't want to do.
You always got to do something you don't want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially when you're.
I'm acting like I'm the only one. Yeah, sometimes I got to do stuff I don't want to do for my job.
Oh,
It's
man,
crazy.
that sucks,
It's
man.
hard out there.
Yeah. No, I just mean that a lot of people get into business because they're good at doing something. So they start.
Yeah.
They sell that service or they sell the product. You're selling comedy. You're selling yourself. You're on stage and a few laughs.
Yeah, it's interesting
But-
because for me it feels more like being self-employed, which technically is entrepreneurship, but it's if you have any financial background, it's in that left-hand quadrant. You've got the employees, then you've got the self-employed, you've got the business owners, and then the investors. And moving through those different quadrants is something that we don't have to talk about at all, but it's an important thing of being in business to kind of understand that. And it sounds like you're operating on the business level, but you're selling a service, like Ryan said.
Yeah.
You're over on that left side, so figuring out that balance is tricky. I think that's where you leverage your network. You get to focus on the art, and you start outsourcing some of those things that you don't want to be doing.
Yeah. I think it's just, I don't know if how do I say it? But there's some stuff where it's like, you almost have trouble giving up the full trust. Like I do have someone helping me, but it's like there's only so much you can just. It's never going to be perfect. You're always striving for it to be at a certain level
Yeah.
that it's like never going to get to.
What is the thing you
Never be
hate the
happy.
most, and you would want someone to take off your plate right now?
Editing.
Yes, that's the first
Editing.
thing I got rid of as well with
Yeah.
the show.
Okay.
Yeah, I have an editor, and he edited for my last TV show as well. So that's perfect. I don't want to be dealing with editing.
Okay.
So I feel you there.
I might have to grab a number off you.
Yeah, absolutely. He would love that.
But yeah, editing takes me a long time. Now, having said that, my buddy Justin Hocko, who does the Outhouse videos. He edits pretty much all those videos, writes most of them. So like Outhouse stuff is, he's the mastermind there. But I'd like to get, I guess, be able to put out more and like, bring to life more of my own ideas. And yeah, just the editing side of things. But the only problem is it's just like I'm also particular about timing on stuff.
Yes.
So it's like I'm too particular. It's like I want everything like my own way, but
That's
also
right,
don't
because
wanna be doing
that is a
everything.
different spin than what I have going on here with the podcast. For one example, we're having an unedited version. So Riley Harnett is my editor. He just has to switch between cameras, match up the auto, switch between cameras.
Right.
He doesn't have to focus on timing. For you, you'd want to have more of a hands-on touch with that because that is your brand.
Yeah. Yeah, actually I do have a bit of a vision in my head, but it's like it's not something that is like interesting on a podcast. But
What is it?
yeah, if I can like go over the fucking final draft or something, like get someone to do the rough draft, and I'm like, all right, let me just do a little tweak.
Yeah. So
That'd be the ideal.
you don't particularly like the editing, but I would imagine there's a lot of editing for the YouTube videos.
I like editing, but it takes me so friggin' long by the time, I just want stuff out faster.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, there's.
What do
there
you
can be
use to edit?
Final Cut.
Okay. That's a bit painful. For me personally, I mean, having used Final Cut a little bit, I switched to...
Adobe.
Actually, no, I apologize. I'm completely wrong. I use Final Cut. I switched from Adobe to Final Cut.
Oh.
And I like Final Cut way better. And
Oh,
now,
do you?
since moving to mobile, I edit some portions of the reels on mobile. I use CapCut, and that's good as well.
CapCut. Okay,
Yeah,
right
that's
on.
like a TikTok app. But it's really fucking good.
Okay,
A lot
interesting.
of really cool shit in it. But it's a bit pricey. I pay like $15 a month Canadian. For what it is, I think it's a bit pricey.
Right,
for
yeah,
editing
for like a
software.
mobile
Yeah.
type thing.
But it's powerful. It's really fucking powerful. Final Cut is great. I've been using that for years. I'm a big fan of that.
Okay, it's good to know.
Yeah.
CapCut can probably do like the generated subtitle things.
Yeah, it does
right?
that, and there's a lot of AI features that they're embedding in it now. I don't mess too much with the AI stuff, but very soon, actually, Meta just announced that they're working on changing your mouth and your voice into different languages. So soon we could have Mike Lynch speaking Mandarin to an Asian crowd
God.
in your voice
It's
and
coming.
your mouth.
They don't even need us anymore.
See,
We'll walk off cliff.
Cecil speaking Mandarin on the next Asian show.
Oh my god, insane.
Yeah.
I have some fans though, huh? Go back to Asia then.
Global
That's right.
sensation. Then you get up, you can't speak a word.
Yeah.
Mandarin.
Do you do all your own social media? Because that's the next thing I want to take
Well,
off my
the
plate.
outhouse is all pretty much just Hako, but I do my own, like my Mike Lynch page. Sometimes I used to contribute, like, I used to like, also write some stuff for the outhouse. But, yeah, I kind of do all my own social media. Like, I have a person that'll make a scatter post or whatever. So I guess not all of it, but yeah, pretty much just me.
So, do you have a goal in mind of how many post videos you want to produce a year? Because I mean, you said earlier that content is really driving your ticket sales.
Yeah.
Do you strategize about your post and your videos?
Yeah, I got like a rough kind of goal and whatever to meet, but I'd like to have a little something once a week. But it's just like when you're trying to do shows and work on stage material, it's just like that gets in the way of like your online shit.
Yeah.
And you want to have a good live show, but you also want to sell it. But it's like sometimes it feels like you're either overselling it or underselling it.
Yeah.
So
And that's a
Yeah.
whole other thing that you'll have to balance as it grows and as things scale up for you. You know, the business is just going to become more embedded in everything that you do.
yeah,
And
it's never gonna end.
It's just going to keep spiraling.
but that's a positive
You're gonna
thing
make
too.
me quit. I'm gonna quit live on this podcast. I quit.
No more comedy.
Riley, help me.
What I've been getting at though is that I want to come back to the social media bit. You know, that's something I personally find really time consuming. So
Yeah.
taking that off the plate and giving it to somebody else. The tricky part about it is that you need to earn more money to hire these more people. And
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then you're like, you know, the anxiety of pulling the trigger. Like, fuck. I hope this pays off, or am I just throwing money away? And then not only that, but it's just like when it comes to like comedy videos and stuff. Like I said, like an editor, like a kind of like the editor. If I was like to leave all like the entire project to the editor, it's like they'd have to almost be a comedian themselves with the timing. Like I wouldn't be able to give it to. It'd be tough to trust it to. Like just give it to an editor and then trust that they'll dim with the final draft and that it's going to be funny. Because we've had like really good editors like edit a sketch, they know the script, and then when it's put together, it's like this isn't funny anymore.
Yeah. They're
You
going
know,
with like
yeah.
a completely different spin on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like there's just too many awkward beats and or like a clip lingers.
Well,
for
can't you
too
sit
long
down
or
with
something.
an editor, speaking for someone who doesn't have any editing experience whatsoever, can't you sit down with somebody and be like, okay, here's the material, here's my vision, here's what it is, work on this, I'll come back in, help you tweak it, and it's like a back and forth
Yeah.
process?
Sounds like it's going to be more of
Yeah.
a conversation.
Yeah,
than
I
something
think
you
that's-
hand off.
Yeah, exactly. So that's all it is. It's really just, yeah, it's just like I go over the rough, it's like change this, give them like detailed notes, and then
See,
hopefully that should
I
work.
just solved your problems.
You solve the problems.
How
Yes.
about that?
Just like that.
Okay. Changing gears again now. What is the best part about being a comedian? There's got to be.
The skin. No, just a new idea that you come up with that works and everyone laughs at it. Like people,
That's it.
and then like, and it like surprises you, like the new idea and like, oh, everyone just like lost their minds at that. Like, that's like the best, that's like the high I chase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was
And blow, I love that too. I'm joking.
no. I can't even imagine. I don't perform. I don't speak. I don't get up on stage. There's only cameras here. There's nobody. There's nobody to cheer. If I shag it up, Riley can just go and edit that out. He didn't say that.
Yeah.
But when you're on stage and you're live, it's real. You're there. They're gonna laugh or they're not gonna laugh.
Right.
And you're hoping to God that they're gonna laugh.
But yeah, I imagine that must be an amazing feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you kind of know, what bits, like, how do I say this? Like, you can kind of predict shows in terms of, like, you know, say I'm on this tour. Like, say when I go to Corner Brook, I'm like, all right, well, I already did this show like friggin' 8 times. I only got one little new idea to try out for this show. Like, maybe that one doesn't hit, but then it's like I got all this other stuff that they haven't seen before, but I've worked it out. Yeah. So it's like, you're not too nervous about that. But now the first 3 shows of this tour, I'll be sweating.
So because it's all new material, right?
But you still work some stuff out in a sense, like the stand-up I'll work out on stages.
Okay.
Do you find different audience in different places tend to react to the same material? Like, you know, if it's good in Newfoundland, when you go to Calgary, you're like, that's it. That's my go-to. They're going to laugh at that.
Yeah, like, if it's not too Newfoundland based, like, you know, if it's like a Newfoundland joke that works in Newfoundland, like, you know, you're kind of rolling the dice in Calgary.
Right.
But if something works in Calgary that's not like a Alberta specific reference or whatever, like, you should be safe in Newfoundland.
Okay. Yeah. So it's like it's a one-way relationship there. If it's funny in Calgary, it's funny in Newfoundland. It's funny in Newfoundland? Yeah.
Well, if it's a Newfoundland specific reference, but I mean, it's like anywhere. It's both ways, because if you do like a Calgary specific joke, it's the same. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, just don't, as long as it's not too localized. So yeah, if it's funny, I should rephrase that. If it's funny in Newfoundland and it's not a local, chances are it's going to be funny over there. But sometimes you see a little bit of a difference in certain stuff that's not necessarily local, but just somewhat minor. Like, maybe just how you speak can affect it.
Right.
So you probably gotta, you know, if you're talking too fast, maybe.
I'm over here analyzing the shit out of this, and Mike's like, what the fuck do you want me to say? Buy a ticket. Come, check it out. He's like, I don't know. I'm like, but do you have a spreadsheet?
Yeah, you're just giving away, you're just unveiling the curtain. I don't want them to know this stuff.
Yeah.
It's all new show, every single show.
And when's your first one kick off?
February 5th in Harbor Grace.
Harbor Grace.
Yeah.
So you've tested some of this material before. So while it's all new in a sense, you have tried things and you know how it may hit or may not hit. Does that sound accurate? How do you go about launching all new material? You must prepare in some way.
With the Cecil stuff, I just, you know, I got drafts. I'll like go over myself. I'm like, all right, what was I thinking here? Scrap that. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is funny. I'll keep that. But like the stand-up, like I'm kind of been bounced around comedy clubs.
Yeah.
In Alberta mostly, a little bit Nova Scotia, and just kind of working it out there, just doing spots on these shows and just testing out new material, kind of just keeping it under the radar. Mm. You know, not trying to promote these shows, but just trying it out in the front of a crowd. So I'm kind of building it that way. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much it. So
you never do a test run on your material? Like, you got like a...
I do.
You got your buddies, you're ever like, hey, run this by you. Is this funny?
Sometimes, not often, because then I got to rely on one person to laugh. And if that one person doesn't laugh, I get in my head, I'm like, all right, well, it sucks. But when really it's just like, the energy of telling it to one person might not be the same. And I got to rely on this guy to laugh. Right. So I'd rather try it out on stage in front of
I feel like people. That's ballsy. Getting up there.
But you can also but chances are you're going to open up with a joke that you know works.
Yeah.
And you're going to cap it off with a joke you know that works. So you just sandwich it and you can, you know, it's not painful. Like people are quickly forgiving. If they got to sit through 30 seconds of something that's shit. And you can also say it in a way, I shouldn't be giving away all my secrets, but you can say it in a way where the joke might have bombed, but you just make it, you can play it off like, oh, well, he was using that to get to his next thing. Or like, that was just a setup for what he's getting into now.
Right.
But really you're like, no, this joke just didn't work, but I just talked really fast onto the next thing.
Yeah.
As if I didn't mean to have a pause or a laugh there.
Yeah, that was funny. So
the key is not just like, so after you say the punchline, you don't just, just kind of wait for it.
Wait for those laughs.
No, I just feel like, like, just move on.
Yeah.
Just pretend it never happened.
You said you opened up a show with something that works, but now you're speaking from experience, right? And you have quite a bit of experience. What would you say to the person who's never been on stage and has never tested their material?
Never been on stage, never tested their material.
Wants to do it, but is a little hesitant.
Wants to do it this hesitant.
Maybe rephrase the question in a certain way. What would you say to your 20-year-old self walking on stage for the first time?
I'd say, don't fucking turn around, go back to school.
Get off the stage.
What the fuck are you doing, man? I would say that you're gonna you can get better at this. You're not just, however funny you are when you first start is not as good as you're gonna get. Because that was my biggest worry. I'm like, because I knew I wasn't like that good. And I'd see all these other guys. I'm like, oh, they're so funny, man. I'm like, will I get there? Like, or am I just, this is as funny as I can get? Like, there's no way around it. And no one would say like, oh yeah, you got to keep working and you get better until, I met my buddy Brian, who was actively doing it professionally. And he's like, yeah, at first you're supposed to suck. Right. And I remember that was like the big relief. I'm like, oh, so it's okay. I suck. I can not suck eventually.
Yeah.
And you just work at it, you analyze yourself and you adjust your system or, make a new formula, pick at it and adjust it. And you can become 10 times better than what you were. And you can keep growing.
I think that's something I really appreciate about being a comedian is that you have to try something. You have to get up the courage to try it. And then possibly fail, but then you have to go back and keep revising it and say, why did it fail? How do I make it better? And I love that part of the mind. Being a comedian, I think of it in a way as, this is going to sound weird and you might not get the connection, but I see it as like having an engineer's mind. It requires a different set of the brain. It uses a different part of the brain, right? And it's always been fascinating to me what it takes to be a comedian.
Yeah, because it is weird. The fact that we don't know, I mean, you can kind of get a good idea what's going to get a laugh. Sometimes you have something you're like, oh, they will laugh there for sure. Like, this is making me crack up laughing. But it's funny how, like, you still don't, like, I don't know, this is going to work. Like, you think by now we'd know what they laugh at coming from my face.
Right.
But for whatever fucking reason, I still got to keep trying shit out in front of an audience, or I don't know how it's going to work. Man, it's weird.
I laugh at shit I think of all the time, but I would have no way how to communicate that to an audience. But like, for example, I was washing dishes earlier and I had 2 glasses clean and I was like, fuck, I'm not going to have a glass for somebody. I was like, what if I brought Mike down a bowl of water? I just laid it on the table.
That'd be hilarious.
Podcast, you were...
I wouldn't even question. I was like, this is what I deserve. Yeah, he saw my first set. I know.
Yeah. And like I think of like random weird shit like that all the time, but I would have no idea how to ever bring that or present that to an audience.
Well, that one right there, that'd be a like a video sketch or something, or you could have just fucking did it. I mean, we could have brought it to life, but
maybe another time.
Yeah, next guest, you got to do it. Next guest who's not even a comedian, they'll be like, what the fuck?
I will do that. It reminds me of the dog.
All this sick setup, they don't have a glass. Like, you just got a bowl of water.
I was thinking about bringing over my daughter's chair too, and slamming that, and you'd just be like, "Who?"
Yeah,
not even really on camera. Your hand.
I'd be like, all right, it's a fucking setup.
But I wanted to get a feel for who you are. I didn't want to bring in too much of the things that would be funny in some way and talk about the characters you do, but who's Mike Lynch, who's behind it.
Yeah.
And even you say you always do characters, you always do voices. So it's really a treat to see you as you are.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. It's really
Yeah.
good. I want to get
Take that, every ex-girlfriend.
I want to ask you something, and it's every episode we have a recurring segment, and it's called an actionable takeaway. Is there something that you do in your life that you think could benefit other people trying to be a comedian?
Well, don't be beaten out 4 times a day, I guarantee you that. No, you can do that, it's fine. But if people are aspiring to be a comedian,
Yeah.
if people aspiring to be a comedian, that I do, I wish I had prepared something. Just the right balance of working at the craft and the right balance of living, like, being a normal person. Like, so you live a life, outside of just comedy. You know, you got to be thinking about other shit, you know, think about other people. Because it's easy to become, especially if you're, you know, having to take care of your own shit and you're trying to do it for a living. It's like, it's easy to fall into like a trap of like narcissism. You're just always thinking about yourself, and just, but it's out of like, at first it's out of survival, but then you look back like, I only thought about myself for 2 weeks. I gotta call my mom.
Right.
You know, so
That's so interesting. And we struggle with that in terms of, or any entrepreneur struggles with work-life balance. And you have that exact same thing, and it requires you to be selfish in some ways because, you know, all the content's coming from you.
yeah.
But then you also have to give yourself to your family as well.
Yeah, and not only that, but it's just like when you're just thinking about yourself, keeping this business afloat, it's like now, it's like you look back, you're like, I haven't had any inspiration for a new joke in so long, because I've just been thinking about how to keep this business afloat, where it's just like, so it's kind of goes hand in hand, just like, yeah, you're thinking about other people, doing other stuff, living a normal life. That also helps invite inspiration for new joke ideas. So that also helps your business too. So, you know, and don't just do it because it fucking helps your business. Like,
Yeah.
hang out with your family,
But you're
you know,
right.
because it's the right thing to do.
I feel that the balance is something that we're always going to struggle with. You're always going to struggle with being creative versus being a business person.
You will with that attitude.
There you go.
You're
You're a good entrepreneur, but you definitely needed work-life balance.
Yeah, it's hard.
It is hard, yeah.
But
No,
for
I know what
me,
you mean.
I can be all, you know, if I get sucked into business, it's all work, business. And then, but I feel like you've got 3 sides. I've got a personal life and a business side. You've got personal life and business side and an artistic side, where you got to be creative, come up with
Right.
content, juggle that, make the phone calls, book the tour dates, book the venues,
Yeah.
do the emails, make the phone calls, and then call your mom.
And call mom. Yeah. It's the only woman in my life, for fuck's sakes.
There's a lot to it, eh?
Have you ever had
Yeah.
a moment in your career now where you're like, let's say someone came up to you randomly on the street, in a public place, maybe in your bathroom, it was like,
Stabs me.
oh my God, it's Mike Lynch, or it's Cecil O'Brien, or called you by a character name or your own name, and after the interaction you just kind of walked away and you're like, oh, I'm kind of famous.
So how
Have you had those moments?
I've had moments where people come up to me and recognize me. Yes.
Looking for an autograph,
And, like,
picture.
So like, how do I feel in that moment? Is that what you're asking? How do I
Have
feel?
they happened? How do you feel about them?
If it feels good, like it's just validation. Like, oh fuck, sick. Like I'll probably be able to keep this going for another little while. You know what I mean? So it's definitely not like, I definitely don't get it enough to be annoyed with it at all. Like
Yeah.
I get awkward for sure. Like I can be like, fuck, like I wish I could say all the things to let you know I appreciate you, but sometimes I'm just thrown so fucking off guard. I'm like, can I finish peeing first? But like, I'm just, it feels great.
Yeah.
It feels great is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Especially if they're hot. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, everyone's hot.
Do you have any one particular moment that jumps out at you and like, this one time this person did this, and it was like,
Not
any
a
good stories there?
This is kind of not the exact answer to your question, but just like a little side note. Like every time like someone comes up and recognizes me and they're with more than one other person, And like, say if someone's like stoked to see me, they'll always be with someone who's gonna make it their mission to humble the fuck out of me. So like,
really?
holy fuck, it's Mike Lynch. Who the fuck's that? Like, remember the video I showed you? Nope, can't remember.
No idea.
Yeah, and it's like, we should get like, and it's fine. I'm like, and I'm just like, it's okay. People don't know me. Like, a lot of people don't know me. Like, no, but like they fucking, and they'll try and remind them right in front of me, and I just gotta stand there and watch this woman like not recall me or give a fuck, and I'm just like, look, it's okay. Like, do I have to be there here for this? Can you guys do that away from me?
Right.
But they insist I watch her convince her friend that she knows me.
You should join in next time. Be like, what do you mean? You don't remember? You don't remember?
Are you fucking stupid, bitch?
I don't know about that.
Mike Lynch.
Yeah, I'm with Mike on this one. You got to jump in on that. You got to be like, just play along. What do you mean you don't know me?
Yeah,
You don't know those videos? You didn't see me on tour last
They
night?
might not get the humor in it though, but you
like
do have
Republic of Doyle started naming all these shows that I'm not on. Republic of Doyle, fucking Stranger Things,
that. Yeah. Just throw them away.
NTV News.
If the fan that's there of the two people or other people are any good, they're gonna play along with it. They're gonna jump right in there with you.
I don't know.
And
I get confused. It's usually drunk people, so they'd be like, huh?
yeah,
Probably confused, but I'll do that next time as a gag for sure.
yeah, and just have a camera. You got a camera following you around all the time, right? Just like start recording.
Yeah.
Just turn it into a whole new reel or a whole new
Segment.
video. Segment.
Yeah.
There you go. There's inspiration for the next one. Completely staged. Someone comes up to you and that whole scenario unfolds itself.
Yeah, I know. I wish I had
Like
the
that
balls.
shit, don't do it.
I wish I had the balls to do like the messing with people kind of humor, not like the mean stuff, not like pranking people and pissing people off, but like even just stuff like that. Like I don't have the balls to like. I'm not a good liar either.
That's Ryan's sense of humor. Like as soon as you sat
Right.
down, he was like, "I'm gonna grill the shit." And I was like, "Ryan, you don't know each other." I was like,
Yeah, Ryan.
You don't know if he's like if he doesn't know if you're fucking with him.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's funny.
Yeah, I'm
It
for a
while.
comedian. I'm actually really slow. I'm pretty.
But in my head, I'm laughing, and that's good enough for me.
I would never get on stage. I don't think I ever would, and I've never ever prepared
For anything or just for comedy?
Well, for comedy specifically,
Okay.
yeah. I've been on and talked to crowds and hosted a TV show in the past. And
Okay,
that's a little
right.
bit different.
Don't you know him?
Yeah.
Yes,
You
I
don't
do.
know me?
From the
I'm a big
show.
fan. I didn't come here to sit with
on
a stranger.
Rogers. You don't remember?
Oh yes, Carl Wells.
But I know there's other people out there too that probably will get on stage. They might not have much prepared. But what do you do? How do you go about getting on stage for that first time?
First time?
How do you pick out some material that you might think is funny, but you haven't really worked with it too much? You just get on and bomb? Like
No,
what's the
you
best approach?
prepare the best way. I mean, I think everybody's a different. Maybe depending on who you are, maybe you should just have a rough idea and just go up and just let it flow, just to find your voice. Or maybe you're someone who should be prepared by memorizing it word for word. Maybe you just have jot notes. Like it depends on who you are, but
Right.
it's like your first time don't matter really, because it's like most people suck at first, so like it's fine. No matter how it goes, it's fine. Like it doesn't. It's not going to define your future in comedy.
Right.
What happens your first time.
Right.
Like,
And yeah, and you've kind of alluded to that earlier, and that's something I never thought about before. You really kind of phrased it in a way that it's a journey. You know, it's not a one-time thing.
Yeah.
You know, get up and suck and then do it again.
Yeah. It's just you can be the worst ever, like painful first set, and then maybe you become like the best comedian ever. You know, it's go either way. You find your process. So I think like depending on who you were, and if I like knew somebody, say if someone I'm half close to, they want to try comedy, I'd be like, I think try it like this first. I'd make a good guess. I'd be like, okay, I know how you are. You go up and you just have a couple ideas, or it's just like, oh, that story you told me yesterday. Like say it just like that, or add a couple things, or maybe it should be like, you know, you're just riffing with your buddy and you're like talking about something, and you guys come up with stuff as it's flowing out of you, and like, oh, remember that, like, or do voice memos, you can do pen and paper, word for word, you can do pen and paper, jot notes, laptop, like everyone has different process. Play around with it. And I guess the main thing is just like, don't put so much pressure to how your first time is going to go, because it doesn't really fucking matter. Like, yes, try your best, however that looks. Don't invite your friends out first. Wait till you have a good set before you invite friends.
Yeah, because they'll never let you forget it. Remember that time you went up on stage, you bombed, you told that joke?
Or they're just like, you know, they feel awful for you, which is even worse. And they're just like, I like if I do bad in front of my friends, like, you know, just fucking chirp me, please. And I'll just be like, good set, man. It's just that awkward, like, oh, good try.
Yeah. I always get extremely awkward when I'm in the audience and a comedian tells a joke and it's not funny and everyone's just sitting around and it's really awkward. And it takes me a while to get out of that. Like, they might tell something else that's really funny right after, but I won't laugh for like a little bit.
I appreciate you coming to my shows, first of all. But yeah, it could be uncomfortable for sure. You just feel the discomfort of the audience, yeah.
So how do you break that?
Oh, I break it?
Yeah, how do you break the discomfort?
Well, it's not a problem I have to worry about.
No,
you just...
I'm talking about the 20-year-old Mike.
Just acknowledging it, even just as much as going, well, that was fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like, the audience relaxes.
Yes.
Now they're having a good time. Like, there's people who, like, none of their jokes are working, but if, like, you know, people have told me this over the years, it's not something I'm coming up with myself, but, like, if the audience is watching you have fun, like, they're having fun. So if you can have a shitty set written, but if you're up there having a laugh, like, not giving a fuck, the audience is probably gonna relax the whole fucking time too. Like, oh, he was kind of fun. Like, the worst, like, yeah, maybe clean your shit up, and there's some people who got like well-written jokes, but they're so tight telling it. But there's also contradictions to everything. Like, maybe your character is awkward and it works. You know, there's always like an exception to every like little rule.
Right.
So that's why it's really like find your own journey. Like, study yourself. Like, use yourself as a science experiment. Like,
do you consider yourself somewhat of an actor?
No. I guess I can act and I will act, but I'm not like, I'm an actor. I never told anyone. No.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm kind of thinking about it. Coming over here tonight, knowing you're going to be here, I guess I
am an actor, but I mean, I just never said I'm an actor.
Well, I sort of thought to myself, I was like, I wonder if he's going to be a completely different person than what I know from watching shows or videos or social media. Am I getting the same guy I see on social media as I'm going to sit down with tonight?
Yes, I'm the same guy.
I think that's the beauty of the podcast. You know, that format. You know, people are going to watch because they want to see behind the scenes. When you're not being Cecil, what do you do?
And they're like, oh, he's boring as fuck, man. I'm not going to see him.
Well, yeah. I mean, you probably feel a bit of pressure to always be funny, especially if somebody knows you.
I know. There's times I meet some people and I walk away. I'm like, fuck, I wish I was funnier. Like, you tell they're expecting so much more. And I'm just like, fuck, they're right. I should be more funny. But yeah, there's a pressure beyond. But like, I'm just not on all the time. Like, if I'm in a silly mood, like, sure, but it's just like so much. It takes up too much energy for me to be like, all right, just decide when to be on. Like, if I came on here and I'm like, I'm gonna try and be funny the whole time, I was like, I don't have the energy for that tonight.
Right.
But not that I don't care how this goes, but it's just like, I'm just gonna be who I am in this moment, and hopefully that's good enough. Hopefully they don't cut my episode. Fingers crossed.
That's what I was hoping for, to get a feel for who you
okay,
are.
Perfect.
I want to ask you, how do you handle being heckled, and have you been heckled? Is that what happens then?
Yeah, you just it's experience helps. Like, you know, you just kind of like you can gauge, and you fucking something comes up. You know, something comes to you. You fucking. It's funny, I sound like someone who definitely don't handle it well, but no, you just engage. Sometimes you can ask them so many questions, they kind of dig themselves a hole, because usually it's someone who's drunk as fuck. So, like, they're going to say something stupid anyway. So you keep usually the old rule of thumb is keep asking questions. And
So you engage with the person who's heckling.
yeah, if it's something like distract, if it's like, and very rarely do you get a heckle like this person's trying to like grill you and derail the whole show. Like sometimes it's usually just some drunk person like yelling a word that you remind them of, like,
Right.
you know, pina coladas or whatever. Just like, or I'd be like, I was drinking a beer, like I had a beer or something like that, and someone's like, get it into you. Like it's just always just someone just drunk saying something dumb.
Yeah.
And if it steals the focus of the audience, if someone's just like mumbling something and no one's really paying attention, you just kind of let it go unless something funny comes. But
I guess so. How are you then at impromptu? Someone heckles you and says, and you got a beer, and you're like, yeah, get it into you. Do you like? And everybody heard it. Do you like to, or is it just something you got to do, or do you like when something like that happens? You pivot and you're like, okay, I got you now.
yeah,
And me and you, it's me and you now.
yeah, it's not always two. It's not always like me versus you thing. It's just like I'm just gonna. Sometimes you just like I'm just gonna be interested in what you had to say. I'm just gonna like you just let it flow out of you. You know what I mean? Don't. It's not always just like, oh, here's a fucking joke that trumps that one.
Right.
It's just like maybe I'm like, what'd you just say?
Yeah.
And like, get it, India? And you just keep asking questions, and eventually they say something stupid, or you think of a joke to make them look stupid, or maybe you guys just make jokes and everyone has fun, and he don't have to be made out to be a bad guy. He's just a drunk guy, just trying to enjoy his night, because that's usually what it is. It's just people don't understand the whole, you know, shut the fuck up aspect of watching comedy. And it's like to expect everyone to understand that going into the show is.
So you have experienced it.
Wishful thing.
So
yeah.
Do you feel like you've turned most of those into a positive experience added to the show, or do you absolutely hate that?
It's well, a lot of times you'll get you know, really drunk people don't know when to shut the fuck up, and that's an actual problem. Like, so it doesn't, no matter what you say, even if you say like the most ultimate fireworks joke, made them look like an idiot, and they're just still going like, like, you know, they're out of it.
So
they got to be like removed from the show, because you try your best. Like, you can make the show about them for 5 minutes, but that gets annoying to the audience after a while, and they all came for a night out. So
do you always have like a secret cue that's like security without being like
security? Well, usually
Security?
if I'm at a Legion around the Bay, you're kind of fucked, right? You are security.
No, I'm thinking more about the bigger shows and
Bigger
you're
shows,
actually in a comedy club.
sometimes if you're at a comedy club, like a staff member would be like, hey, you got to keep down, a couple warnings.
Yeah.
And we've had people be kicked out of our shows.
Yeah.
And just had to be done.
Right.
It's like you're being a problem.
How do you
People
recover
are
from
pissed
that?
at you.
Yeah.
So they've completely interrupted the flow of your show. How do you bounce
Well,
back?
it's super in the. You
just
can
kinda
be
like-
very in the moment and stand up too. Like, it's not like. It'd be worse to have hecklers like if you're doing a play or a musical, because you can't really break the script. But stand up, you kind of allows you to be like, oh, well, fuck you. Like,
Right.
leave.
Yeah.
You know, you can just acknowledge it and make jokes about what's happening in the moment. And obviously, I'm not saying any good ones right now, but you know, in the moment, you come up with stuff, and you just it's just over the years being comfortable in the moment on stage and playing around.
So
just
I guess
experience.
if you're not comfortable on stage, if you have a fear of public speaking, being a comedian's probably not the best career path.
I think that's why I would want to do it. But
Yeah,
I'm
but
kind of crazy like that.
But I'm sure there's lots of great comedians that kind of had that fear. And I mean, at first, it's like, geez, many people are afraid to go out in the crowd, or, you know, people shy away from that. But it's just like, you can have a fear, probably have a fear of public speaking and still be a comedian. As long as you can bring yourself to go up on stage. You know, you hear stories of people like, you know, throwing up before they go on, like almost before every show. Like, it's
Really?
there's people out there with that
Please.
anxiety, but they just
Tell
keep.
me names.
more of a couple local people that I probably shouldn't mention.
I just wanted you to be like, I just wanted you to say some big names.
Oh yeah, Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle.
When you walk on stage, do you still get nervous now?
If I have a big new thing that I have to remember, like a bunch of points, I get nervous for that. But if it's like a show that I've worked out, I'm confident in the material, I know what I'm going to say, and there's nothing weird about like the setup, like, you know, if it's not some weird open mic where there's like 10 people in a fucking 400 seat restaurant, open wide ceilings, there's no lights or something, like I'm just a little more excited, a little more anxious. There's still nerves. There's always a little bit of nerves. Always at least a little bit of nerves. But if it's like long thing I gotta remember, I'll be nervous.
And so you've got this skit planned out in your mind. You've got maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes of comedy planned. What happens when you lose your space? Like if you lose track and you're off your plan.
Yeah.
Do you try and come back to it, or do you go on with new material? You just wing it?
I go on, just move on to another bit. Like if I don't remember exactly what I was gonna say next, I'll just move on to another bit that I just know and remember. Maybe I'll think of where I left off and I'll go back to it and I'll be like, oh yeah, and the other thing. And
I love when comedians do that, and I think that's a bit of the craft. You start off and you have a few jokes and you nail them out, and then at some point in time they keep coming back to it. And then if it was a success, the audience continues to laugh, and it's like it builds.
Yeah, you're like, oh shit, he called back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they call it a callback.
Okay.
Biz.
Makes sense.
Oh. Yeah.
I think Chris D'Elia might be a comedian who does that well. But I'm not, to be honest, like comedy is something that's so outside of my wheelhouse. I know a few comedians and I love it, and I would love to attend. And I'm just curious about how the brain works when you're a comedian. I appreciate you sharing that.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, sometimes it's like you just you're working on another bit, and you're just like, oh, I see an idea that I can see a reference I can reference back my old one. You just see a fit there, and it's kind of, I'll just piece together as you're coming up with your shit. It just all kind of unfolds as it is. You don't know, you don't have the exact plan. Like, okay, I'm gonna write a joke now. It's gonna end like this.
Yeah.
It's like you just fucking let it flow, and then it just unfolds into that.
What he's saying is, you can't teach what he has.
You can't. Yeah.
You can't teach this.
No, I'm born with this.
It's just got to be there. You have it or you don't.
And I mean, you kind of,
Exactly.
in a way, to kind of take that from a joke and bring it back to something that is a little bit real. You said you were always like a class clown. Do you remember what you were joking about back then? And do you think that actually fueled you getting into comedy?
I'd say you just probably
Tell us about your deepest insecurities and why you're funny.
yeah. I know, right? Yeah, I mean, if you go right back to grade one, it's probably just, fart noises and whatever, and just throwing shit around.
Being a nuisance in class.
Yeah, I think it's just voices. I think I was just doing silly voices and saying just dumb shit. Or I'd just be like, or the teacher would say something and I'd find it, which is such a cheap move, right? The teacher gives you a setup. She's trying to be serious the whole time. Obviously she's vulnerable there. Like anyone could say something funny to them, but yeah, just immature voices, just dumb shit, nothing specific. I wasn't this comedic genius. Still am not. Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, pretty much just dumb humor, just immature shit. Nothing wild.
And before you ever went on stage, you said you reached out to this mentor in a way, this 70-year-old guy who may have wanted to have sex with you.
Yeah, I know.
May or may not.
He didn't try and fuck me after. I was a little disappointed. I don't know what was wrong with me.
The old Tinder call didn't work out.
Yeah.
Way back when.
That's it. But what were you saying? About the guy?
What was it? Oh, yeah. You had your mentor.
Yeah.
So do you think without him you would think you would have got to comedy eventually? Or
I don't know, man. I mean, probably not. Probably, maybe. but probably not.
Wow.
Yeah. Maybe videos. Well, I was kind of always making silly, foolish videos before anyway. I think I would have still ended up doing videos. Probably different than what I'm doing now, but yeah, stand-up, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a tough one.
It's funny that it sounds like he played a huge role into, you know, your career and how you transitioned into it.
Yeah.
But, and I remember you saying, like, your interactions with him didn't go as you were expecting. You were expecting, like, what about this bit? And he was like, no, scrap all
Yeah,
that
he
and
was.
say this. So
Yeah,
he
it wasn't too
put something
encouraging at all. It
helpful.
took me months before I actually had the balls to do it.
Right.
Yeah, he was just like, all right, you're on next week. And I'm like, fuck, I guess I'm on next week. This was after 3 months of me just saying, no, I'm not ready yet.
Yeah.
And he keep trying to talk me into it.
Yeah, I love that moment when something becomes real.
Yeah,
There's
it got
no
real.
backing out.
There's no backing out. I needed that. I needed that push.
Yeah.
Tell us about your network of, I mean, you've mentioned Justin Hacko a bunch here. Your network of friends, buddies who are doing some production, doing some editing, the importance they've had in getting you to where you are.
Oh man, well, they were everything, right? So like you know, there's at least 5 people where it's just like, fuck, I don't know if I'd be doing it without them. Like there were so many little, you know, like George like, you know, my old buddy from high school, if he never had me out through shows, I wouldn't have met George who got me on stage. If I didn't meet Brian, I wouldn't have been doing his career for sure. Cause, you know, he was kind of like my mentor and convinced me to quit school, which is not a good look on it at the time. Not a good look on him.
Whoa, back up.
Yeah.
He convinced you to quit school?
He didn't convince me to quit school,
Did you
but
quit school?
I set him up to convince me to quit school. I quit college. I was a month in, supposed to do electrical engineering technology, a well-respected trade, I'd imagine. I never fucking got a taste of it, so I don't know. And I remember it was like 2 years of doing stand-up as a hobby. And I was like, man, I want to fucking just go for comedy, like fuck school. And I'm like, so I go up to Brian and he was like, you know, he was a top dog around. Like everyone looked up to him. He's fucking hilarious. We're all just shitty open micers and he comes in and fucking puts the place up. And I'm like, hey, Brian, man, I'm like, just really in my head, like I want to quit school. I know my parents would be so upset. And I thought he'd be like, listen, man, like, and he laid it all out for me. He's like, yeah, quit school. School's for bitches. And anyway, and he thought he didn't think nothing of it. He just said that for a laugh. But little did he know I was like, school's for bitches.
Taking notes.
And then the next day I was like, hey, I did it. He's like, what? He's like, you idiot. Anyway, I did it. And so without him, and a little before that, I quit comedy, or I just stopped doing it. I had the job with Bell Lions, and then I remember Matt Wright, another hilarious comedian, he randomly reached out to me like, hey, like, you should do stand-up again. Like, so even something like that, like, without that, you know, and then there was like, and then Brian introduced me to a whole, like, you know, network of, like, club bookers, fucking Lisa Baker, another comedian, she got me in touch with, you know, bookers in Alberta, and she even just encouraged me to, you know, that I was good enough to do it.
So the whole network of people that you have just kept pushing you along, dragging you back
it's
into
crazy. Yeah, and then of course Hako with the videos was huge. So it's like, and then just people just giving you confidence because you're around like, when you're around like a bunch of comedians, like you're going to shows where there's like 15 comedians on the show just doing spots. Like you're not gonna get, they're not fucking cheerleaders. Like everyone's just into their own shit. Like it's gonna be a cold environment. Like you don't expect like, oh hey, right here, here's this where the comedians sit. Like no, everyone's just like, oh, a new one, another one. Like yeah, like no one cares about your journey. I mean, some people do. People are nice, no doubt, but just people just.
That's a pretty good reality check because again, from the inside looking in, I would have thought you guys are backstage.
Yeah, we're the comedians.
Giggling and laughing.
We're all in this together. Like, there's none of that. It's just like, move, bitch, get out the way.
Yeah.
It's more of that vibe. I mean, there's people who are nice. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of great comedians, but yeah, I definitely struggle with confidence out the gate, but without people like, you know, validate like, no, you're good enough to keep going. Like, keep going. Mm-hmm. Like, without that, I'd be long gone. Yeah.
Do you have mentors that you look up to now?
Mentors that I look up to now, like, I mean, still, like, you know, Brian and, you know, Colin Hollitz also gave me a lot of confidence and, you know, made me feel like I can keep going. And there's another mentor. It's all I think right now. But yeah, without all those people, you know, Justin Hocko and stuff, yeah, I owe him a lot. Mm. All the stress I experience.
So now, I'm going to flip that. Do you have anybody else you're mentoring? Has anybody come to you like, hey, I want to be just like you?
I know, now I'm feeling guilty. Fuck, I don't help nobody.
You're gonna know shit. All these people you just
stay in school. You suck.
That's the best mentorship right there.
Yeah. Am I meant to? I give people advice who ask, but sometimes it's like I only want to do it if people ask because you don't want to be the guy like, you know what you should do?
Yeah.
Not do that. That's for fucking sure.
Right.
Yeah, like I'm happy to help. Most comedians are happy to lend people advice, like if they ask for it. I just don't want to, like, I just don't go out of my way to like help someone who never asked for help because otherwise it, you know, it can be weird if they don't want help. Like, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'll leave you alone, I suppose.
Yeah. No, I think it's cool you're open to like someone say a message and ask something you get back to them, like, what do you ask? Yeah.
Like I've definitely sat down with a scatter comedian and tell them what I know. Not many people do ask for help though. I think sometimes people are like, I don't fucking need nobody, man. I can fucking figure this out. It's just no one discovered me yet. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it's a competitive environment though. So
yeah, it is.
These shows, like everybody's friendly, like you said, but it's kind of like, do you feel like it's kind of like, you better not be funnier than me. You better not get more laughs than me.
No, it's not that bad. It's not. I over exaggerated. I made it sound way worse than it is, but it's like basically just like don't go to like say if you're in a big city and like, oh, it's like an open mic or like just a show with like big showcase comedians.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, oh yeah, we're all over here. Oh hey, nice to meet you. People are pretty. It's a little colder. I mean, I don't know what to compare it to because I just didn't be, you know, like if I was in a program in school, people would be nicer, you know,
right?
Yeah. Than in comedy, which is funny because it's like we're all trying to spread joy here, and everyone's like, "Who's he? You need good? Already fucked so." Yeah, it's just like people got their guard up. I don't know. And in comedy, like, there's no checking like, I mean, you know, you can show up at an open mic and then just be like, I'm a comedian. Like, you know, there's no one really checking resumes or doing background checks, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, open mic, I
every
imagine that
weirdo
must be how a lot of people dip their toes in and feel it out. There'd probably be no other way. I mean, if you've never been on stage, you're definitely not getting
You're like an amateur night, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, or just, I mean, who knows? Maybe your friend puts together this variety show and like, oh, I'll try comedy. Like, there's a bit of that too. It's like, you can also have your first time. Like John Sheen, for example, from Newfoundland. His first time, I think, was doing an hour of comedy because he didn't know how to do it because there was no stand-up comedy in Newfoundland. Wow. So John Sheen, had acting experience. So he writes, I guess, an hour of stand-up, like, I guess, like massive monologue. So his first set was an hour or something. Yeah, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
But John Sheen is amazing. So, I mean,
Mikey listen is a thing that my I'm an electrician. I work in Labrador. I'm
Yeah.
an electrician, and that's because obviously Mikey
Yeah.
listen. That's become one of our favorite skits. We listen to it all the time.
yeah, that was huge.
Yeah.
I love that bit.
Is there anything you want to dive into?
I've got your brain picked as much as I can pick here now.
Oh, damn.
Like, what
That
else?
made me sound basic.
else?
Because I know you all to pieces. There's nothing else.
What else is there? You know, how was your childhood?
Oh, it's very troublesome.
Tell us about everything from birth forward.
Well, get ready for tears. Oh,
Would you
I don't
ever
know.
get on
that's
stage?
great.
Me?
Yeah.
And try to be funny? No. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No?
I'd psych myself out. I'd be like,
Would you enjoy it? Or you just wouldn't enjoy it? Not something you long for?
it's no.
Or more of a fear thing? Or
Oh yeah, no. It's cool if you're out and you're drinking, you're doing whatever, you're with family or friends or both or whatever. And you got a good thing going and you say something and it's funny and that's all good. But to try to be funny, to be like, okay, I'm gonna get this material ready. I don't know. I'm not.
yeah,
I'm not
right.
cut out for that.
I have no idea what I would joke about. Like, I find everyday shit funny all the time, but I don't know if other people do.
Yeah, it's that meme. It's like
Right.
I'm in my own head. I'm like, if I didn't laugh at my own jokes, nobody would.
Yeah, right.
You know.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, man. It's, yeah, you don't know till you try. But if it's something that you got this weird itch, like there's this weird, like little flame, like I really want to do it. Like, you know, I never thought I had the balls to do it, but I did it. Or I tried to anyway.
And now you made a career of it.
Yeah, no, I made a career out of it.
How do you see it growing now?
Funny enough, I was going to ask a similar question. So before you answer, I'll build on that.
I'll ask the better version.
Listen, what I was going to say is better.
Okay, go ahead.
What was I going to say? I fucking lost it.
What did I even
He
say?
was
I
just
don't
jealous of your
remember now.
question.
No, the growth. How do you see yourself growing? Do you think you're going to come up with new characters with the content, or is like the character
Okay,
thing
yours was
done?
just missing examples, that's all.
Yeah, I needed the examples. Be more specific.
No, man, no, that's a good question. I just want to keep. I'd like to have more people drawn to my stand-up, so I'd like to come out with a special, like a, you know, I just like to have more, I guess, fans of my stand-up and be able to. I'd love to just keep doing what I'm doing. Keep that going. Like, I'm happy where I am. It's just more I'd like to be able to relax more in terms of, like, you know, every year is not like a friggin' fight to get people to come back out. Like, I guess I just want to, like, be able to relax and just come up with new bits. So I'd like to just, like, I love stand-up and I love playing music. Like, I'd like to keep doing accordion stuff on stage. But yeah, I guess just like have more people drawn to my stand-up and come with new material and be able to sell shows and maybe in more cities.
What works for you for bringing out that inspiration, though? Like, I would think, as an example, because apparently I love giving examples for my questions.
No, I love it too.
Do you find that, like you say you don't have much of a travel bug, but do you find, like, if you just bought a plane ticket, you went somewhere, put yourself in a new environment, you could just use that for inspiration? Or do you have something else that really, when you're really stuck and
yeah.
you're feeling the pressure, what works for you to get that
Get new inspiration for content?
Yeah.
I guess just one thing I found out is just like doing a little something different in your routine. Like, don't fall into a comfort or rhythm. So just like, oh, I'm gonna go to the Clay Cafe, make a pot or whatever. Like, yeah, maybe I don't get a joke out of that, but just doing something different spark something in your brain. Like, maybe it inspires you, but it's you might not have a new idea about what you just did, but it just recalibrates your brain to be more open for inspiration. It's weird.
Absolutely.
It's like you don't actually have to do something just because you might get a bit out of doing that one thing. It's like it just sparks your creativity in some weird way. So I might go to Clay Cafe and leave with jokes about pizza. I don't know. Just, just do something different. Just get out of your comfort zone.
Mix it up.
Do you have a lot of people coming to you saying you should do a skit about this or?
Yeah,
this
quite often. Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine you get that a lot.
Yeah, you gotta do a skit about, geez, the other day while I was down to Sobeys, Mrs. up ahead of me, she had 2 carrots. And I'm like, actually a couple times we're like, oh my God, shut up, buddy. And we're like, wait, that's pretty good.
Right there. Yeah.
Actually, one guy came up loaded and he's at Ian's pub. He's like, what are you at, boss? I got a good one for you. We're like, here we go. Just come up with a video. Top 20 things to do with a Sobeys bag. Or like the best things to do with a Sobeys bag. And we're like, yeah, thanks, buddy. And then after we look at each other like, yeah, we're doing that. Yeah. And we did it. This is back when Sobeys bags still exist.
Amazing.
Yeah, I figured it'd be actually
Rest in peace.
That'd be pretty, right? That'd be pretty cool now. They're all filled in. They're all over Robert Hood Bay, full of potato skins.
Actually, not the one I have in a glass frame at my house. My buddy for Christmas, he gave me like, you know how like you have a jersey in like a glass frame. He gave me one of the Sobeys bag.
No way.
Love that.
Yeah, and then I had it there for a while, and my girlfriend years ago worked at Sobeys, or back around when I got it, and I brought it in one time. And I got like the supervisor to sign it, and I like made a post on like such an honor to meet one of my idols.
I love it.
Anyway,
What else you want to talk about?
jeez, but it's up to you, man. You're the
man.
captain.
Come on.
I didn't come here with bullet points, but
Well, we got it all beat to that here.
I think that's. I mean, I don't know. How you guys been?
Good, man.
Well, you guys had all time.
We don't need to get into our history on the podcast. So I want to thank you for being here. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
you. I appreciate the glimpse into your mind and what it takes to be a comedian. So appreciate that. Hopefully we can
Thank
have
you.
you back once you've done your tour and you've got some more stuff you want to talk about. Yeah, thank you very much.
Sure, but thanks for having me. I appreciate the invite for sure.